Probability and stats. Today is lesson 6.6 or 6-6. Normal is approximation to binomial. So I did this out in steps. I will also attach this sheet along with the book assignment so that you guys have that. So what we have is different types of steps. So your sample, your n times your p, so whatever your probability is, your original probability, has to be greater than 5. Your n times your q, q is the alternate, so if p was 5%, q would be 95%. Okay, if p was 25%, q would be 75%. So it's the opposite of your percentages to get back to 100%. If your n times your q also has to be greater than 5. Okay, your second step, there's your mu, has to be n times p, so that's going to be whatever this is right here. Your rho, or your standard deviation, is the square root of n times p times q. Continuity correlation, you're going to take whatever your x amount is, so whatever your total number of people are, or total number of whatever you're testing, minus 0.5, and then you're going to add 0.5. And I'll show you how to do that here in just a second when we get down to the problem. So, this is an example problem. A survey was sent to 40,000 people. 3% responded. They needed at least 1,150 people. Find the probabilities. So find the probability of getting 1,150 people to respond out of the 40,000. So whenever they're doing that, they're sending out surveys or whatever, they want to figure out how many people do we need to respond in order to get a good consensus on something, or in order to get a good insight. Right now we have the census going around, and they want to determine how many people need to respond in order to get an actual or an accurate count. One thing with the census is that is your road construction, that's your school funding, all of that good stuff. So it is important to do the census and complete it so they have a average of how many people are in a household. So that's what they do this stuff all the time to determine what's the probability that you're going to get all these people responding, or that you need these people responding. Okay, so step 1. I take my 40,000, because it was 40,000 people, times my percentage, 0.03, and I get 1,200. That's also my n times your p. Then I take 40,000 times 0.97, 97%, because if this is 3%, my q would have to be 97%. I get 38.8. Okay, that's my NQ. Both of these are bigger than 0.5, or both of these are bigger than 5. That shouldn't be a 0.5 there. It should just be a 5. Okay, so step 2. I got my rho, or my mu, my mu was 1,200, and I got my rho. 0.4 times 0.3 times 0.97, the square root of that is 34.117. So that is my standard deviation. Step 3, this is the number of people we needed. I needed 1,150 people, so you're just going back and you're restating that. Steps 4 and 5, we're setting up the bell curve. Okay, this is the curve that we're all hearing about, especially with this COVID. This is your bell curve. Okay, this is how we flatten a curve, or try to make it flatter. Just in case you were wondering with that bell curve, because I know you're hearing it more and more. So steps 4 and 5, I'm setting up my curve. So right there, so just draw your bell curve. Your mean is 1,200. Okay, so that is your mean. That's your n times your p, so that's 1,200. We needed at least 1,150. Okay, so we needed at least 1,150. So what I did over here is, this is my continuity correlation from up top. I took 1,150 plus 0.5, I got 1,150.5. 1,150 minus 0.5, I got 1,149.5. So here goes my 1,149.5. my 1150 in the middle, and then my 1150.5 on the opposite sides. I'm trying to find just that little piece of area there, but what I'm trying to find is this big generalized piece. That's what I shaded, because I need this, at least 1,150 people. So I need at least this many people. Okay, that's what I need at least of. So then I come over here to step 6. I'm looking for the area to the right. Okay, so I'm looking for my at least amount, at least 1,150. And notice I'm using the 1149.5. I'm using that continuity correlation because that's the lowest amount that I could possibly have. So I come over here, and I'm finding my z-score. My x, which was the 1149.5. Now, if I was finding less than that, I would use 1150.5. But I'm finding more of that. Minus the 1200 divided by my standard deviation. I get my z-score of negative 1.48. I go to my z-score sheet. I get 0.0694. Do 1 minus that. I'm at 93.06 or 93.9306. 93.06%. That's how many chances, or that's how much I can get for getting a response. I have a 93% chance of 1,150 people giving me a response. Okay, so that is what you're doing. I only have 2 problems assigned. 17 follows this one here, just a little bit different numbers. 22 follows this one here. So just those 2 problems on page 306. It's not that bad. Just set it up into your steps. Make sure you're showing me your bell curve so I can see those curves. And there it is. So I will attach this, the book, and the z-score sheet again. All right, guys. Hope you had a great Easter break. Talk to you soon.